Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Cartalicchio. I want to welcome you to another segment of Destination Health Podcast, Finding Function in a Dysfunctional World. Very excited about today's guest. We're going to have a great conversation. I want to welcome to the program Johanna Sopo. Jo, how are you today?
I'm great. Excited to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be a good conversation. Yeah, Joe and I were talking a couple of weeks ago, and we said, I think there's a podcast in this somewhere. And just wanted to bring Jo on and have her dump her clinical pearls on us. So she's the founder of the acclaimed Fit Zone 360 boutique fitness studio, creator of the 3M method for fat loss, fitness, and metabolic health. And everybody knows I love to have, when I have guests on, Jo, they're doctors that are into functional medicine and functional nutrition and fitness people that are into it because we like to motivate, educate, and inspire. Do online group training, one-on-one coaching, happily married, mom of 3 teenagers.
Yeah.
God bless.
My oldest is 23.
And your oldest is 23. Hold on. I think we got our first question. And you have a fur baby. Jo, how old are you, Jo? And I have a reason to ask. I know you're not supposed to ask a lady how old they are. But Jo, how old are you?
I don't care. I am good with that. I am 51 years young.
And
51. I just turned 51.
I think the first question out of the gate is you're 51 years old, right? And you're working out, you're looking good, you're feeling good, you ought to be in Hollywood type of a thing. It's for anybody at any age. I'm 61. I'm 10 years older. And we were just discussing, I worked out. I'm doing a double workout today, by the way, at the age of 61. There's no age restriction for working out, Jo, right?
No, I mean, there's no age restriction. Anybody can start at any time to work out. Actually, if anybody our age or older are not working out right now, please start. Just start doing something because workouts is not only it's not about the physical only. It's about your health, your mental health. It's about everything. Whatever it is that you enjoy, do it, even if it's 20 minutes or whatever it is.
Walk 15 minutes out of your house after dinner, walk 15 minutes back. You have to start somewhere. You don't have to run a marathon because you're not going to run a marathon. But those of us that are becoming, in our twilight years, there's no way. You should get out there, right, Jo? And you should work out. And you should keep yourself healthy, eat right. It's a whole lifestyle. Now, Jo, what brought you into this? What happened to you when you were younger? You had a child, you gained so much weight, you were going to lose your child and yourself. Take us back to that time, please.
Well, I'll take you back
even further.
Many years ago, when everything started. My mom passed away from a heart attack very suddenly. Mm-hmm. She was overweight. She was obese. She wouldn't take care of herself. So growing up, I saw all of that while I was growing up. So when I actually took her to the hospital and I came home, I was in my 20s, and she said, take me to the hospital because I think I'm having a heart attack. And I was like, Mom, that's not going to happen. So we went to the hospital. She had the heart attack. She passed away. And that created something on me, like that stay with me forever, into a way, not too healthy, into, okay, I cannot be overweight. I need to. And it didn't matter how skinny I was at that moment. I was like, okay, I cannot gain weight. So it started a period of me, between, the grief of losing my mom. I started a period of dieting, and I wasn't even overweight. So I would lose, and that dieting made me just gain more weight. And then I lost the weight and I gained. So I was in that yo-yo dieting cycle forever. I mean, I got married, and then as I was pregnant, I think many women used to think, I mean, I don't know if they think it anymore, but that was my way of thinking. I'm pregnant now, so I can eat all I want. I'm going to eat for 2 now, and then I'll lose the weight, because that's the way I operated. I gained it some, I lost some.
Well, that's the way we were all taught, right? I mean, your wife's pregnant. you just eat because you're feeding two right now, and you just go crazy and you go hog wild with that, and that's just not healthy to begin with, right?
No, and I ate without control because I was like, I would eat for two. And I remember that I used to work at a school. I used to be a teacher at the time, and I used to work at a school. And for some reason, I had lunch, and then the kids had another break and another break. So I was for 2 hours after lunch. I would just eat whatever I found in the Cuban cafeteria from the school, and then go to the school and take a huge nap. And I mean, it was the unhealthiness on that pregnancy was insane, because I was like, I'm going to eat everything and I'll lose it after. So blood pressure went up. You know, I had her very ahead of time. Like, she was a preemie, 7 months. She has to be a month in the hospital. I was pre-diabetic, pre-eclampsia, everything that could happen, I had it there. And just seeing my baby in the hospital, you know, I couldn't take her out. She was so tiny. And I was like, you know what, this has to stop. I have to do something. So after I had her, I make amends with myself, and I said, I need to find a way. And I always liked working out. That was never the issue. The issue was that mindset that I had of that dieting cycle, and that needed to stop. So I started researching, found, you know, a way to lose the weight. I started getting into nutrition, and this is all on my own, for my own health. Right. So, found a way. I started going to the gym much more regularly, and I started teaching classes at the gym, and super enjoyed it. And, you know, long story short, I was like, I think I can help people, you know, and I just, you know, went out there, and I stopped my teaching. In the schools, became a trainer at the gyms, then everything evolved to what it is now, which obviously is my passion, to help women, you know, stop that yo-yo dieting. So it doesn't matter. The age does not matter. That's right. It just stop the yo-yo dieting.
Get off that merry-go-round, because that merry-go-round could really hurt you. So thank you for being vulnerable and discussing your situation with your mom. I'm very sorry to hear about that. And, you know, when you were talking about that, it brought me back to my childhood. And I have so many questions that I think that I want to stay here just for a little bit. So I come from an immigrant family, right? You come from an immigrant family in addition to, right? And coming here to America, you know, they have no money. And then they get a little bit of money, and food it's very important, right? With Latin-based cultures, definitely. You know, whether you're Hispanic or you're Italian, you know, you have that strong, you know, ties to those, you know. And at one point in time, I noticed that for me in the 70s, you know, food became different. It wasn't the homemade food. Was it a situation where your mom just didn't eat right? You know, they're they're making a couple of bucks now. They can feed their family, and they have the cultural food. Not that there's anything wrong with the cultural food, but it was different probably than from, where did she come from?
Cuba.
Yeah. So it's different than the homemade food you would get from Cuba. Things got fast in the 70s, you know, and so forth. And now you have, you know, Hungry Man dinners, and you have this. You can go to the, you know, in my neighborhood, you could go to the Italian section, and there was an Italian section, there was a Spanish section, and it was all cans. You know, they probably weren't used to that. So did your mom just start eating poorly? And were you nervous about that when you were watching her eat all of this?
Well, I didn't know, right? I didn't know at the time how it would be affecting her so much. I think she was a workaholic. She was always working, which I see a lot in women, you know, that don't take care of themselves because, oh no, you know, I have to work. And then they don't take that time to take care of themselves. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to do my nutrition. I don't have time to work out. And then what happens is that if you just take the time, you'll be better at everything else. But if you keep neglecting that, that and don't take time for that, then things are just going to backfire. So that's what I saw all the time. My mom was eating out all the time. She didn't have time to work out. She didn't even go to the doctors to her appointments, you know, because she was working out all the time. And in my house, either she could bury in the morning some rice and beans that she left there, or, you know, or we would eat out all the time. Mm-hmm. So it was more of the habits that she had herself, that it didn't help her. And then she wouldn't understand that just taking a little bit of time to take care of her will just open up everything, you know, all even more time in the world to do anything else that she wanted.
Right. I understand exactly what you're saying, because both of my parents, they just worked. You know, they come from a country where there's no work. Then all of a sudden they come to a country where there's a ton of work. So you're like, oh my goodness, you know, and you're just working all the time. And we did at one point in time eat out because they were just working. There wasn't enough time in the day. And if they did have time in the day, you know, there's a little vino going on, there's a little more food going on. It wasn't like they were thinking about going to a gym or going to for a walk. Lifestyle was different back then, right? And it wasn't. So for people like you and I growing up like that, we had to change our mindset when it comes, because my listeners know I had a heart attack when I was 37 years old. 37. You know, I survived. I had triglycerides, 1,227. I have the blood work.
My mom had high triglycerides too.
That is a major biomarker, as they say, for heart disease. So that had to change me, even though I was kind of like, you know, yo-yoing also. You know, it's kind of like, you're in high school, you're in college, you're playing sports, you get out, you get a job, you're not working, you're busy, then something happens, then you get busy again. So you have to be consistent. That's the point, right? You have to be consistent, because without consistency, this is not going to work, right?
Right. There's no perfection. There's nothing as perfect. There's no such thing as I'll start tomorrow. There's no such thing I'll start when. The perfect moment's never going to arrive. So it's all about a little bit of time for yourself, and, you know, and that consistency, even if it's 20 minutes a day or whatever it is that you can do daily to take care of yourself, do it, because it's all about the consistency of it. It's not about 1 or 2 perfect days. It's about every little day, or making those decisions as much as you can, as many times as you can, consistently, not perfect. And you said it right. It's about that mindset change too.
How did you change your mindset after your mom and after the pregnancy? What did you have to do? What did you do to look inside yourself and say, this is not right? I want to be around for my kids. I want to be around for my husband. I want to be around for myself, my family. How'd you change your mindset?
It was a process, though, you know, and that's exactly what I actually incorporate in my program right now, which is why it's the 3M Medva. And the first one is it's mindset, because if you don't change your mindset, your mindset will either put you in the right actions to reach your goals, or it can keep you stuck on the same way over and over and over. And there's the thing that you have to realize, that if you keep expecting change by doing the same things over and over and over, you're just going to get stuck. And that is never going to change. So, you know, and I see it in my clients too. This is why integrated mindset in my program is, if you don't change that piece of the way that you think about things, your actions are not going to change, and your actions are going to be still the same as you were doing. So the way that you think has to be changed first, so you can take the actions that you need to reach your goals.
You're saying
otherwise you're stuck in the same. You're just stuck in the same way of thinking.
I have somebody that I deal with in my office. That's a therapist that changes mindset when their relationship with food, because if you don't do that first, and if you don't have that proper mindset, then what happens is that you're going to fall back to the way it was prior. You may get some wins, you get some losses. Sometimes the losses are a little bit more, tell us about, how do you work with mindset with your clients in your program? What do you do?
Well, so the mindset is the first thing. So here's the thing. There is the 3M method, right? So it's mind, metabolism, and movement. And everything goes together because
I like that. Wait a second. I think I'm going to steal that from you.
Well, it's in the process of being trademarked. So.
Oh, okay. All right. I wouldn't do that. We're friends. I wouldn't do that.
No, yeah. So mindset is the first thing, right? Mindset, it is the first thing because your mindset is the way that you think about things. And there's two ways we think about things, positive and negative, right? And so we have to think about this. When we think something repeatedly, it becomes a belief. So there's positive beliefs that can take us to the right goals. And then there's negative beliefs that keep us stuck. So we have to become aware of those negative and limiting beliefs that are keeping us stuck. For example, all my younger days, my belief was that I needed to diet to lose weight. Right. And so that same negative belief kept stuck on me. And until something had to change, that I needed to change that way of thinking so I could do something different. Right, sure. Otherwise, I was going to keep stuck in that same negative belief or there's different beliefs like, oh, I don't have time, or I need to do extra cardio to lose the weight. Oh, and there's many negative beliefs that keeps us stuck in the same, position that does not allow us to change. So one of the first things that I do in my program, besides brain health, because that's another thing that I've fed, is thought awareness. What thoughts are keeping us stuck in the same, in the same cycle that do not let us move forward? So then I teach my clients how to reframe those thoughts into positive ones so we can take the actions that we need to reach our goals. And the first thing then also is brain health, which I include as well, because people don't understand that there is a brain-gut connection, and everything that we eat is related to our brain. That's right. And our thoughts. And it can even, whatever we're eating, it can even give us, brain fog, alter our decisions, alter our thoughts, give us anxiety and depression, and everything's just connected, So what we eat changes our brain, changes our thoughts, and our thoughts are clearly related to our actions. So everything goes together. So, and then I started to realize that the clients that were really making the change in my programs were the ones that integrated their mindset. They changed the way that they thought about the things. So they were able to change those thoughts that keeping them stuck into, because remember, your thoughts are going to affect your actions. Everything. So everything goes together. And when I integrated that piece, it was just a game changer. A game changer, not only for me, but for my clients. But for your clients. Yeah, you know what? Every aspect of their life. Yeah, I always try to teach my son. He's 14, so he doesn't listen to me at all. You know how that is, right? So I always try to say to him, change your mindset, change this, change that, change your mind, and you'll have a better outcome. So you're bringing somebody from a certain belief to another belief about themselves, because this belief is going to be much better, and it's going to work with you that much more. And you'll be able to get rid of those limiting beliefs, because we all have those limiting beliefs, right, Joe? Of course. It's about recognizing them, right? Right. You have to be aware, right? That's the first, actually, that's one of the first in my mind management. The first step is brain health. And I'll teach you how to eat and move and keep that brain healthy. But then the second one is thought awareness. You have to be aware of the thoughts that are keeping you stuck. Otherwise, like I said, the actions are never going to change. If you don't change those thoughts, the actions are never going to change. Right, because you're just going to be stuck
into this rut that you are. And we all get into a rut. I was in a rut a couple of days ago in the morning. I've been busy. I think I needed just a little bit more sleep, but I got up and I started my routine. I started my daily routine, Joe. And all I know is it's 11 o'clock and I didn't accomplish anything that I wanted to accomplish. Then I sat down and I said, right, I had that thought awareness. What's going on? What do I need to do? Do I need to go to bed for an hour and then I'll get up, I'll get refreshed? I said, no, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go take it out on the iron. That's what I did. I got back at 1 o'clock and then from 1 until 11, I was rocking and rolling and so forth, because you don't have to be a business person, an entrepreneur to look at this. And it's a situation where you could be anybody, and mindset and brain health, right? And looking at the thought awareness could be anybody. It just doesn't have to be a particular type of a person. Talk to me about metabolism now. That's mind. All right. I'm taking notes, by the way, Joe.
Yeah,
this is good. All right.
So
talk to us about movement. What do you mean movement? What does that entail in your program?
Well, everything that I do is directed to women over 40. And the way, and it's not that I don't help anyone that's younger, but it's especially important for women over 40 to realize all of this, that everything goes together.
And that's your niche is females over 40, right? Isn't that your niche? Yes.
I work specifically with women over 40. Not that I have younger clients. I do have some 30-something moms, but that's my niche, because our hormones are in between all of this. Our over 40 hormones, our estrogen, progesterone goes down, our cortisol goes up. And right now, our metabolism, which is a stress sensor, is even more sensitive to stress. So anything that our body perceives as a stressor and our metabolism perceives as a stressor is gonna affect our hormones, drive our cortisol through the roof, insulin to the roof, and then anything that we do, if we want to diet or if we want to eat healthy, it's going to be compromised, because our hormones are in charge. And who can do anything when our hunger is through the roof, our cravings are through the roof, our energy is low, our mood is low, our thoughts are all over the place, so we can't. So we have to start first by our mind, then regulating our metabolism with our nutrition, because that's going to affect our mind as well. And from there, we go through the type of movement that we need, right? Because like I said, we are super sensitive to stress. Our cortisol is already high. So any
over the place.
Additional stress that we put in our body is going to affect us. So the type of movement that we need to do at our age is very different as when we're in our 20s. That we probably did cardio all the time, the high intensity stuff, and we stopped eating and we lost the weight. We cannot do that anymore. First of all, our metabolism.
That messes up your hormones doing it that way, right?
Well, yes, because what happens is that because we're more sensitive to stress and our cortisol is up, if we over-exercise, even if we are super low on calories, we try to cut food, we try to over-exercise, that is a super stressor to our metabolism. So we're not going to lose anything. We're just going to start gaining weight, because our hormones are going to be affected, and then our hunger is going to go up. Our cravings are going to go up. Like I said, our energy is going to go down. And who can implement anything or any program where our hormones are all over the place? It's impossible. So the type of movement that I recommend for women over 40, especially, because again, that's another super important thing. We start losing muscle after our 30s.
That's right, 100%. Muscle mass as you get older does go down. You need lean muscle as you get older to be healthy. You're a better fat burning machine when your percent body fat's down more and that lean muscle mass is up. You're just functioning physiologically, biochemically better at that point, right?
Well, what happens is that if we let muscle go, our metabolism will continue to slow down. So, you know, the more muscle we lose, the less calories we burn at rest. So let's say that this year you're burning 2,000 calories at rest. You keep letting that muscle go by dieting and over exercising and not doing the workouts that are going to help you build that muscle. Next year, you're going to burn even less calories and less and less. And then people are like, why am I not losing weight? Because your just metabolism has adapted, and it's not damaged. It just has been adapted to everything that you've been doing.
Right. You're not optimizing your nutrition. You're not optimizing your hormones. Everything's all over the place because of the lifestyle that you have that brings you this way. So you're giving them dietary advice, maybe some supplement advice to help give that hormone optimization, especially for those over 40, 50 and beyond.
Well, not only dietary advice, but I'll teach you how to eat. Like I'll teach my clients how to eat for life. Forget the dieting. I'm going to teach you how to eat.
Yeah. When I say diet, I mean nutrition.
Yeah,
that's
diet is nutrition. Yeah. I'm more talking about that quick fix diet mindset. No, we're going to get out of that. Now I'm going to teach you how to eat actually more of the right things so you can balance your hormones, you know, get your whole gut health healthy, get your brain healthy, and then incorporate the workouts that are going to bring that stress level down, that cortisol down, so you can manage those hormones, and then build that muscle that is your longevity organ. Women are like doing all this stuff to themselves. And hey, I'm not opposed to that at all. If there comes a point where I need to do a little Botox or whatever, you know, I'll do it. So far, I don't have to. But, you know.
Joe, I haven't. I'm 110. I haven't done anything yet. So,
you know, but what's important, I'm not opposed. If you have to do it, do it. But know that, you know, it comes from the inside too. And muscle and maintaining that muscle, that is your secret right there of longevity, of health, of you know, your muscle is your organ of longevity. Maintain that muscle, build, and you don't have to be bulky. You're not going to get like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So many women.
So this is always the question, right? And I'm sure you get this question all the time. I don't want to be big and bulky and muscles. I mean, listen, it takes decades to get to that point to begin with. Arnold just didn't do it overnight, or nobody did it overnight. I mean, you're lifting heavy in the gym 5 hours a day. He was in the gym all day, every day. Then he worked construction. He was just a very physical guy, you know? So number one, I love it. The muscle is the organ of longevity. I think that is just great. And I think that is 100% accurate. And a lot of females, they don't want to lift weights because they're afraid of lifting weights. I have somebody that I deal with that she's an IFBB figure pro in here in New Jersey, and I refer them for the workouts, and they're like, oh no, I don't want to be like her. And I'm like, you're not going to be like her, but she's going to give you exercises where you are using resistance weights to build that muscle to make yourself healthier, right? So that's
so
always
important. It's so important. And here's the thing that women need to understand. First of all, we don't have even the same, you know, body composition as men do. We're not built the same way as men do. So men will build, you know, genetically more muscle than women. That's number one. Number two, we don't get bulky like that. It's just not going to happen. You have to obviously pair it with your nutrition. And the third thing is that we don't build muscle overnight. You know, you're not going to do a weight training workout for a few weeks and all of a sudden you're going to wake up like Arnold. Like it's a process, right? And if I always say, and if at one point you're like, oh yeah, I have too much muscle, which no one has said that ever.
Nobody ever says that.
Nobody has ever said that.
And you know why? Yeah. For all of our listeners today, you're not going to say that because you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to say, wow, you know what? Because the aesthetics now kicks in. That dress looks really nice on me. Or a gentleman that, you know, that golf shirt looks nice on me. I have a nice pair of jeans on. I feel comfortable. My stomach is flat, right? There's always that aesthetics part to it.
Well, if we get to the aesthetic part, is the only way we're going to transform our body. If you're looking for body transformation, the only way to do it is by weight training and building muscle. Cardio can make you smaller because you're losing that muscle and you're just smaller, but you're never going to transform your body or change the shape of your body by doing cardio. And here's the thing, the more cardio you do, the more your cortisol is going to go up, the more your hunger and cravings are going to go up, the more cardio you have to do. And then it's a cycle, because you're going to continue to stress our body. And another thing about cardio is that you only burn calories throughout the workout. So the more cardio you do, the more calories you want to burn, the more you have to keep going on and on. So when you build muscle and you work with weights, you not only burn calories throughout the workout, you burn calories 24 or 48 hours after the workout.
Right, 100%. And listen, it's not that we're saying don't go for a run for a couple of miles.
Oh, no.
No, it's not that we're saying that, because you and I would go for a run for a couple of miles or so, or whatever the case may be. It's just
I would run, but I would go for a bike ride. I definitely would recommend walking. You can do cardio if you enjoy it. But if you're using it for weight loss, it's not going
That's the
to
point.
work.
That's the point that we're trying to make. You still need to lift weights. And there's such a negative connotation to that when it comes to females, right? That we're going to lift weights, you're going to become like Arnold, and you're going to, so forth and so on. That's just a totally different program. That's a totally different way. Again, there's the aesthetics of it. Then there's the peace of mind. Talk about that. Because when you're in shape and you're looking good, you're feeling good, you ought to be in Hollywood, everything seems to work better. Even if life throws you a curveball, right? You're calmer, you're more relaxed, you can make better decisions when.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
Right? So that happens.
It's a ripple effect. And this is the way I talk to my ladies. Once you start taking care of yourself, everything else in your life is going to be better for you. Your work is going to be better. Your relationship to others are going to be better. Your relationship with your family, with your husband, your sex life is going to be better. So it's the ripple effect of just taking a little bit of time to take care of yourself. Then it affects everything in your life in a positive way. Exactly.
Over my right shoulder here, there's a picture of my mom and dad when they are 60 years old. Oh my goodness, Joe, they look like they're 90 in that picture, but that's the way it was. I'm 60 years old, and it's just a much better, much different lifestyle, because what you're talking about is what I teach my patients, and what you're talking about is what I live also, because if you don't, right, you're just not going to be healthy when it comes to this. So I love this 3M method.
Well, here's the thing. My parents, just to do a little bit, never took the time to take care of themselves.
No.
They're both dead right now.
They both have passed away, right?
They are both never got to meet their grandkids. I want to continue doing what I'm doing until I'm 100 or more, because there is no reason to stop taking care of yourself. Oh, I'm old now. It doesn't matter. The older you are, the more you have to. Don't you want to live to see our grandkids? Don't you want to be a good example for your family? Because my parents sure were not. So I was lucky that I reacted and became the other way. But you have to be an example for your family and your kids, and I want first of all to be an example of what I would like my kids to be, when they grow up. And I want my daughter to take care of herself and her family as well. But it all starts, self-care is not selfish. And we have this mindset conception, this limiting belief that self-care is selfish. Oh, I cannot just take time because my kids come first. But if you don't come first, who's going to take care of your kids?
It's just like when you're on a plane, when they tell you, if you're an adult and you hit a certain pressure, the mask comes down. Take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of your kids, because your kids can't take care of you, and you need to be the adult in those situations. And that's important because in life, and there's studies about this, that if you're overweight when you're younger and you have poor eating habits, that leads into an adult being overweight, Joe, and having poor eating habits in addition to, and it just perpetuates. I did a podcast with a friend of mine, and you know what they said? Because everybody was talking about genetics. Genetics does play a role. Lifestyle pulls the trigger, genetics holds the gun. But you know what a friend of mine did, and you can use this with your clients. So, somebody was saying, oh, genetics, and I'm always going to be this way. I'm always going to be diabetic. And you know what he said? It's a husband and wife team. They're nutritionists, functional medicine physicians. They went to their house and they went into the pantry, to the cupboard. They went into because that's what they do. They'll go into your house, or they'll do it on Zoom. They want to see what you're eating. And they said, let me ask you a question. All of this boxed stuff that you're eating, do you have this when you were growing up? Of course we did. Did your grandparents have it? Yes. You're diabetic. Mm-hmm. Your parents are diabetic. Your grandparents are diabetic. Guess what? It is genetics, and it's right there. There's the genes right there. It's pulling the trigger because all of the boxed foods, all of the cans of food,
and that's learned behavior. It's not the genes. The genes play 10% of what we are going to become in life. We are in charge. We're in charge. So those are learned behaviors. Those are learned behaviors that we need to, I didn't know how to eat. Like I said, we would eat out all the time or have processed food in our house all the time.
Oh, yes.
I grew up going to Burger King, my luncheon every single day. So, now I don't even know when was the last time I ate a fast food, and it's not like I don't eat junk once in a while because, hey, we all like, I don't know, French fries.
Chocolate or something like that. Or
chocolate is my thing, of course, but it's about the decisions that we make most of the time. Like I said, it's not about the perfect. It's about the ones that we do.
So if my son and I are going food shopping, Joe, if we go buy the chocolate, the little Dove bars, before they're even in the basket, they're gone between he and I. I'm looking at the security guy. Don't worry about it. I got it right here. I'm going to pay for it. It's just in my belly right now, And,
of course.
And it is. And I like when a patient, and this is a little weird, but just follow me for a second. I do like it when a patient fails. Ooh, you know why? Because then they come to me and they say to me, you know what? I understand even more of what you're talking about because this is what I see. And this is what I'm doing, where I had that fast food hamburger and I felt really, really, really bad after that. I don't think I want another one for another whatever. So then I know I've educated them and I have inspired them to a better lifestyle. I tell you what, my son plays hockey. When we were at a hockey tournament, Joe, we were an hour away from the hotel, and there was a fast food place right there. And he goes, Dad, I just played, like 3 games, and I'm like, I'm hungry too. All right, what are we gonna get? I'm looking at the chicken, I'm looking at the burger, I'm looking at this. And I said, I don't know, it's 1/2 dozen. I said, you order. So he got a burger, I got a burger, we both got waters. All I had was the burger. And let me tell you, by the time I got back to the hotel, Joe, I felt headache, pounding, brain fog. Joe, it was so bad that it was like he jumped in the shower. I laid down on the bed. I woke up the next morning. He woke up the next morning and we went to the other game. And I just looked at him. I said, never again. He goes, never again. He said, oh my goodness.
It's what I say to my clients. It's not about never eating that anymore. But when you eat it, you're going to be like, oh, this was not worth it, because I feel like crap. And then when you establish the difference of what eating well will do for you, not only, aesthetically, but in your health, in your mind, you're like, I don't want to go there anymore. And yes, it's hard at the beginning, just like, implementing any habit. You need a little bit of willpower, and not like, I don't want you to live in willpower, but you have to have some willpower to be able to implement those habits. And once you do, I mean, your mind's gonna be like, oh, what was I doing all this time? Because, and the first thing where you're gonna see change first is in the way that you feel. And that brain fog is gonna lift, and all of a sudden you can make decisions better. You can think better.
Right. And as a friend of mine says, you got some momentum going on, right? You get that momentum going on, and then it's the next step. It's the next step. Because I'm sure with your clients, it's not like it's an all or nothing, especially in the beginning. It's not like I'm eating, hamburgers all day long from the fast food place, and I'm drinking sugary soda, then I'm having a bag of potato chips. It's bad just to stop like that, but let's get some strategies. Let's get some tools for success, because after that first month, if you lose two pounds a week, if you get 8 to 10 pounds and you're like, wow, my pants feel a little bit better. So we got the aesthetics. You know what? I don't feel as stressed at work or at home anymore. So now you got that mental, and you know what? I feel as if my blood pressure is a little bit more normal now. I'm going to go to the doctor. I want him to do my blood pressure, examine me. Do I need this medication at this dosage right now? Or can I start coming off of it?
I find taking off of medication just by changing the way they're eating and starting to exercise, slowly, maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. You don't have, like I always say to my clients, you don't have to do everything at the same time. Slowly start implementing.
Get that momentum going.
Yeah, exactly.
Get that momentum. Have some willpower. Do some changes. Get that momentum going. You get that momentum going, and then what happens is that you're just feeling so much better about yourself. So I love the 3M method. I am upset that I did not think of this. Okay.
Well, you don't have to think of it. You have to live it. And it was a process of years, of years, because I started studying metabolism because it changes everything, right? Because people are like, or gurus out there or trainers or whatever, it's all about cutting the calories, all about cutting the diets, but the calories. But it's not only about the calories, because if your hormones are affecting you, and if your metabolism is already adapted to all the dieting that you've been doing, you cannot even continue to cut calories. You have to eat more of those calories, because if you don't eat calories, you don't burn calories.
That's right.
So it's all about that mindset change. Again, about just cutting calories does not work, anymore if you don't take care of your hormones and your metabolism.
All right. So all of my ladies that are listening in today, this is motivating, this is educating, and this is inspiring, right? And so if you look at Jo and you say, oh my goodness, Jo looks good because she's working out, she's doing resistance training, she's not Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? But she's working out, and she has a great mindset, and she's got a nice business to help people out in order to get you better. Optimizing your hormones it's so big today, especially for those of us, males, females, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. It is extremely important because it will bring you to longevity. I don't have my parents either, Jo, just to let you know, smoked, they drank, not to excess, but that was the lifestyle. They ate processed foods because it was easier to make the processed food. Homemade macaroni went away. It went for the box, right? You're eating the box, right? And I'm sure with you, if you're
I was raising spaghetti.
Oh my goodness.
I was talking to my sister the other day, and my mom and dad used to work, and my sister's 10 years older than me. So they went to work, and she took care of me, and all she had to make for dinner and lunch was spaghetti, a can. So that's what we were joking about. Yeah, I was raised on SpaghettiOs and Burger King and fast foods because my parents were working all the time. So yeah, it's about changing all of that.
We are in the same business. We're in the business of changing lives. We're in the business of lifestyle changes. We're in the business of making sure that you can live a healthy life. because all of those things that you were talking about, having a great life and everything, that's what I want. And I want that for my son. I want that for my family. And I want it for everybody, because it's one of those situations where it's, I mean, on the other side of what the lifestyle is right now, it's so much better, right? It's so much better. You know, I'm 61 years old. I'm up at 5:30 on most days. I'm in bed at 10. I'm going all day long, and I'm productive, and I'm having a good time. I don't need to take naps. I don't need to have a little sugar rush. I don't need to have coffee to get me going. I just don't. And
that's exactly it. It's just about balancing it out, you know, and even sleep, you know.
That was my next question. Sleep is important for all of this, right, Joe?
If you're not sleeping, nothing else is going to happen. Like, you know, sleeping is number one. Sleeping and stress management, especially for us women over 40, you have to have that sleep down, you know, because it's going to affect everything else. It's going to affect your hunger. First of all, it's going to affect your hormones. It's going to affect your brain. You won't even make two. People don't understand, because they go in automatic pilot and then go days without sleeping more than 7 or 8 hours. And they're just in that automatic pilot. But once you start regulating your sleep, everything is going to function better. Your hormones are going to be in control. And people are like, I don't know, I eat well, you know, and I don't lose any weight, you know, and it's all that cortisol. It's up because you are not sleeping. So sleeping is number one. Stress management is number one, to have those hormones balanced, so everything else will function.
Right. Without proper sleep, you can eat right and you can do whatever. You can drink 10 gallons of water, whatever that looks like, and it's not going to work. So Joe believes that you're never too old and it's never too late to create your best fit, healthy, and fabulous life. And that's exactly right. She's living it, and she's helping her clients do it. Joe, guess what? We're actually over time right now. Yeah. And I feel like we're just warming up. So we're going to have Joe back on.
I would love to come back.
And we're going to discuss a couple of different things, a couple of different topics. But Joe, where can people find you so that they can go through the process to see if, you know, this is a good fit for you and for them? How do they find you, Joe?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. My website actually is getting redesigned with all my 3M method that I'm just, you know, incorporated in my brain health that I'm incorporating in there as well. So my website's being redesigned. So you can find me right now. I'm super active on Instagram, Johanna Sopo. And you can find it right there, JOHA and an ASOPO. And send me a message. I love to chat through messages. Send me questions. I love to answer questions. So yeah, I'm there, super accessible.
All right. So for all of our ladies listening out there today, you've just heard Joe. Give her a shout. Give her a question. Get involved. Let's see if she can help you out. I know she can help you out, but you got to take that first step in doing this. So we recommend Joe 100%. So all my ladies out there, all of our listeners, please give Joe a shout, give her a call, give her a question, and get involved. We're in the business of changing lives. We're in the business of positive lifestyle changes to make you better. It doesn't have to be the way it is right now. So, Joe, thank you very much for being on today. I feel like we're just starting. I feel like we're just starting.
I know, right? I have so much more to say, but we can meet some other time.
We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave it for the next time. So thank you everybody for listening in. You love this. It's great. Please share it with all of your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, even your enemies, because they deserve a good life too. Okay. All right. So share it with everybody. Thank you for listening. Live your best life. Joe, thank you very much for being on today. You're welcome, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.